did, which is such an interesting counterpoint. It's just like, you have this monster who rides into town where people are guilty over this fucking awful thing that they did, and they need protection from people who are basically just as awful as them.
Yep.
And they hire a monster to solve it. So you're watching this, and your brain goes, there literally is not a good person in this movie.
The only good person is, I think it's the unfortunately it's the woman that he rapes the first time, because she's like the only one throughout the town that seems to, I think while that guy's getting beaten, there's actually a scene later on in the movie where it shows like, why isn't somebody doing anything about this? And so she's really like the only one in the town that has any sense of goodness. And the first thing that happens to her is she's sexually assaulted. So it feels as if even if there is a character with hope, it's quickly destroyed.
Basically, like the two women in the film are the people who feel like actually badly about what they did. Because even Sarah at one point, the hotel owner's wife, she goes up to one of the guys in the town and basically expresses guilt. She's the one who reveals what it is that they actually did. And, and they talk about, what is it? I have this line written here. She said something about my neighbors make me sick because they hide behind words of faith, peace, and trust. And the guy goes, good words. And he said, yeah, but we hid a murder behind them. So she's the one who actually sort of starts, overtly feeling bad. And he even starts saying like, well, why is your conscience only here now? And trying to like hit her with that a little bit too. But yeah, it's very interesting watching this town, slowly, because Eastwood never lets on that he literally knows what happened,
right? And
it's very possible he technically doesn't find out what happens in the film, but you can tell that he feels what's happened. He feels what's wrong with this town. Like these townspeople act strange, they act guilty, they act like bad people. They frequently they reveal themselves to be just as corrupt and contemptible essentially as he is. And there are multiple points where they think about hiring him and then fucking just killing him.
Yeah.
There's a great part where a dude like pulls a knife on him at one point,
and the reflection
without even looking at him, he says, "You're gonna look awfully silly with that knife up your ass."
Oh my god.
Eastwood just gets to play he does have a little bit of a dark kind of sardonic sense of humor with the film, that it's just so cruel, it's kind of absurd.
And he never really talked,
like, especially when he's fucking with the town.
Yeah, a lot of his dialogue is less even talking in the sense of like a story or plot or whatever. Most of it is him threatening people or just saying something kind of ominous that feels as if something really violent is about to occur. Him as a character is really just like an entity of destruction and raw power. Yeah, it's really entertaining, but haunting to look at.
Yeah, it's literally it's the amoral outlaw that he's played before in westerns, but just made even more amoral by kind of like the sickness of his surroundings and
made completely unlikable.
The guilt and rage from kind of like place to place, literally burning it down, and he formed those feelings into like obviously this very ghostly revenge kind of horror western that has a sense of paranoia to it and kind of grotesquerie to it about the genre. I love that the beautiful like California vistas with the trees and the water and the sky, like it's so blue and green and beautiful looking, and it's all about to be besmirched by the and impeded on by just the filth of human greed and impulsiveness and contemptuous despicable qualities that these people have. Even as he starts to like actually try to train them, he starts to. He starts to be like, okay, we're gonna get you guys set up on these buildings. We're going to help you guys actually fend these guys off yourself. But as soon as they're all shooting, they're on top of the buildings, like shooting at the cart that he set up and everything like that. They're not even hitting anything, and he's like, shit.
Yeah, this is what I have to deal with.
Yeah. And there's great sequences too, that moody sequences throughout this. Like obviously there's the constant flashbacks to the sort of original killing that the town basically sanctioned that these three guys did.
And it keeps giving you more context as it goes.
Yeah. I love the bit where the little guy who is made kind of like the sheriff and the mayor as
Right.
kind of like a tasteless joke against him.
Yeah.
which he doesn't care about. I actually
he
love
likes
his
the
character
power.
because
Yeah.
because he's just like, I have power.
Yeah, he's like, I don't give a shit why I have the power, but I'm wearing the sheriff badge.
Yeah, and I love when he starts like wearing the gun shells and smoking the cigarellos like right beside him and stuff, and
Right,
like
yeah.
ordering everyone around. He's having a great time, and I love when the townspeople eventually say, eventually, this power is, it's going to change hands. Like he's not going to be here forever, and they scare him underneath the sort of like wooden deck platform.
Right.
And then we get this whole sequence again from his point of view underneath the deck while he's watching the dude just get murdered like right in front of him, and the close-up of his eyes. And the way that he's kind of structured this so that these feelings of guilt blend into these horrifying flashback sequences, which then sort of those feelings and that like horror quality then infect the rest of what you're watching. And then you get to cut to, like the dude's escaping from prison and then doing like this, like they almost do like this first person shooter massacre of a camp and like steal the horses from those guys and stuff like that.
It's so ruthless too. Like the way that they go about it is just, it's literally just three guys camping. All of a sudden they just start shooting. Like there's no real build up to it. They just kind of arrive at the camp, see their opportunity, and start killing people.